What is up, everybody? This is your boy Is Nefarious, and I am here with another edition of your Premier Madden League Fantasy Report. And for those of you that don't know, I continue this video, and I do it every time, the same time every time. For those of you that don't know, the Fantasy Report is fantasy football just based on the Premier Madden League and the Premier Madden League stats. So all the stats you're gonna see, all the information you're gonna see, is based on our Premier Madden League stats. So you may ask, what is Premier Madden League? So the Premier Madden League is a league put together by this wonderful person named JT. He has a ultra sim, very immersive league where you do a bunch of content for rewards, a bunch of competition in the league. We got big names like uh, Natural, who's a part of Sports Gamers Online. We got Cookie Boy on in the league. We got Deloyd from Deloyd TV. We got a few big names in there. Gooseneck Gamer, and then we got some guys that aren't as big on YouTube and things like that, and are really good and good competitors. There's one that works for EA specifically, and he won the Super Bowl first season, and he seems to be unstoppable so far. So if you're interested in this league and possibly ever joining this league, it's very simple to apply. All you do is go to premiermadden.com, and that's Premier spelt at the top of your screen there. If you don't know how to spell Madden, maybe you shouldn't be in the league. Go to premiermadden.com. On the information bar, you're going to see apply. Hit apply. There, it's going to take you to a form. You fill it all out. It's going to be sent via email to that wonderful person named JT, as I said before. He is going to take your name in, look over the application, and then once we get enough users, he's most likely gonna reach out to you and let you know, hey, we're gonna have a tournament. So it's not a winner takes all tournament. So it doesn't mean if you win, you're automatically in the league. It just means we want to see you play simulation style football. We want to see you contribute even in that short period of time. If you like to write articles or do videos or do graphics or whatever you like to do, you would just show it in that time, and then whoever seems to be the best fit for the league will end up getting that invite. Right now we are full with 32 users. We recently just took somebody in as the Ravens user. That was the one team that was probably going to be up for grabs. We are now all full, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't apply. I would definitely still apply just in case somebody falls off or things change and we need another user. But that's pretty much going to do it. Like I said, premiermadden.com. Hit apply and you'll be all set. Now let's jump into the video. So the fantasy report, we start with our fantasy pick'em results, and we got my boy Natural once again taking a win here. This is his third or fourth week doing it. Maybe it might even be his third. Yeah, no, it's his fourth, and he's got his second win already. So he's got a 50% winning percentage so far. And as you can see, he has two total wins. He won with 195.72, and second was Bacon. He has 164. This season, he doesn't have a win yet. Fallen was third with 156.46, and he won last week, which bumped his total to 3. So he's in second place right now. And then we got Nefarious, myself, with 145.08. I have 4 total wins. I am in the lead currently for the most wins so far this season. And then we have Chums at 141.88. He also has 0 wins like Bacon. As you can see, we got a few people here. 5. I think our high ever having was like 7 or something like that. But I'm always open to letting more people in and letting more people have that chance for that one content point. So Natural's gonna get it this week. I'm not sure who's gonna use it, but that Giants team definitely could use some help in the content attribute point section. Maybe he should come out of his little protest that he has. Let's jump into his team. So you can see here he rolled with Ben Roethlisberger as his quarterback. He had 5.02 points. Then he had Matt Breida as his running back one. He had 39.6 points, a huge game by Matt Breida. And then you had Melvin Gordon, his RB2. He had 26.7. And then his wide receiver one was Robbie Anderson, who had 38.9 points, really showing out in New York. And then you had Amari Cooper, who was his wide receiver two. He had 26.4. Grant Calcaterra, the quarterback tight end matchup right there. Calcaterra had 8.4 points. He's been having a good season so far. This week, not so much. 8.4 is decent, but you always look for double digits in pretty much every position besides kicker. Then you got Jonathan Taylor as his flex. He had 38.7 points. And then Joey Sly, the Carolina Panthers kicker, was his kicker this week. He had 7 points, and then you had the Jacksonville Jaguars defense rounding it all off with 5 points as his defensive pick. And as you can see there, we got natural 195.72, so a really solid week from him. It's fun to have another user pretty much taking part of it every week, especially a user like Natural who pays specific attention to whatever he's doing. He's not like anybody else that would just throw out the same lineup. He's looking through every game and trying to pick out the best matchups. And that's kind of what you got to do this season. Last season, you could kind of roll with the same lineup, and you didn't have to worry about it because you had Tariq Cohen and Saquon Barkley and all these guys running loose without any worry to injury. This year, there's an injury worry, so you see guys like Tariq Cohen, Saquon Barkley, and guys like that. They don't see as many touches, so you won't see that crazy 60-point game or anything like that. So it takes a lot more strategizing to do the weekly pick'ems this season, and I'm enjoying it so far. Let's jump into the team of the week. So we're gonna start with the quarterback position. I believe this might be his second appearance on this list. You got Bryce Perkins, the drafted quarterback, I believe in the third round by the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been their starter since day one, and he's been performing absolutely exceptional so far. For passing yards, he had 260 yards for 10.4 points. And then passing touchdowns, he had 3 passing touchdowns for 12 points. He had 1 interception for -2 points, 47 rushing yards for 4.7 points. And then he had 1 rushing touchdown for 6 points. Which gave him a grand total of 31.1 points. And that's one reason that he wanted Bryce Perkins going into this season. He likes to run that read option, and with a more mobile quarterback than Andy Dalton, you could see he's kind of enjoying, running his offense a little more. Let's jump into the running back of the week, and we got Matt Breida of the San Francisco 49ers. He had 239 yards for 23.9 points. Then he had 2 rushing touchdowns for 12 points, 17 receiving yards for 1.7 points for a grand total of 39.6 points. So a really good week from Matt Breida. Somebody that's been on the list a couple times. It really depends on the matchup when it comes to the San Francisco user. He's not a top user, but he is a good enough user that if he gets the matchup, he'll be able to exploit with the Matt Breida. So you really got to pay attention to who's playing, and you could definitely get a great performance from Matt Breida week to week. Let's jump into the wide receiver of the week, and we got Taywan Taylor, the newly superstar development wide receiver in the New York Giants system. As for those of you that don't know, Madden 20 now has dev stories throughout this season, which means at any point your guy could jump from a normal to star development, or a star development to superstar, or a superstar to an X Factor. So he's got him up to a superstar X Factor through performance. He had 2 rushing yards for 0.2 points, 12 receptions for 12 points, 129 receiving yards for 12.9 points, and 4 receiving touchdowns for 24 points, for a grand total of 49.1 points. So a really good week from Taywan Taylor. And like I said, this is probably, I think this might have even been one of the games where he had a development story where he had to get a couple touchdowns, or over 100 and something yards receiving. And that's probably what you're seeing right here, because sometimes you chase a dev story over the win, and sometimes you could get both. And he's the type of user that probably got both. And here you could see the result for Taywan Taylor. So great for him and great for getting Taywan Taylor that superstar development. That's really going to help his Giants team that struggles overall wise. Let's jump into the tight end of the week. And we got TJ Hawkinson. He had 6 receptions for 6 points, 101 receiving yards for 10.1 points, and then 1 receiving touchdown for 6 points for a grand total of 22.1 points. So a really solid week from that tight end. Let's jump into the defense. And we had the Miami Dolphins defense, one of the best defenses in the PML. Cookie Boy's got one of the best users in the league, period, and he really knows how to run that defense. He had 2 sacks for 2 points, 6 turnovers for 12 points, 2 defensive touchdowns for 12 points, and then 9 points allowed, which gave him 4 points for a grand total of 30 points. So, like I said, Cookie Boy's been a really good user both offensively and defensively. And early on in the season, he was struggling offensively, but his defense kept keeping him in it. His defense is really, really good. Guys have been quoted saying that's probably one of the best defenses in the league, next to Mole with the Bears, and then you got Natural with the Giants. Really, really good defenses all around. And the Dolphins show it as they make the team of the week this week. Let's jump into the pick'em. So this is just pretty much guys I think are gonna do well next week based on matchup. As you can see, I got quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defense. Don't really focus on the kicker. You can choose any kicker you want. Let's jump into the quarterback. So one guy I want to talk about here is Josh Allen. He's going up against the Rams. One of the lesser users, hasn't won a game so far this season, doesn't have the greatest defense. Josh Rosen is absolutely on fire since he took over the starting position once again. Like I said, Cookie Boy's got them rolling right now, and Josh Rosen is no exception. He's been lighting up every team he's played so far. I think it's been since week 3 or 4 since he's got less than 30 points. I'll have to look back, but he's been rolling, really rolling so far. For running backs, I got Alvin Kamara. We'll talk about him going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, Alvin Kamara's been struggling all season. The one time we played Tampa Bay, Alvin Kamara was getting holes and he was getting into the end zone. So I could see a lot of the same when it comes to this week, especially with that matchup. You take a look at the other running back I have here. I have Nick Chubb against the Philadelphia Eagles. It looks like the Browns are running the ball a lot more and more effectively. He finds the end zone a lot, so I would definitely have Nick Chubb in there, especially with that new run-heavy offense that's being run in Cleveland. And then for wide receivers, we got Taywan Taylor against the Atlanta Falcons. So Atlanta recently got their star cornerback in I was about to say again, Chris Harris, I believe, is the one that they acquired from the Broncos. But he's going up against a really good user. You can match up Chris Harris on Taywan Taylor or Darius Slayton. I mean, there's multiple options there. I could see Taywan keep grooving, keep chugging along. He seems to be the favorite target in New York, so I would definitely pick that as my matchup. Then you take a look at tight ends, and um, I got Grant Calcaterra, I got Ian Thomas, and I got Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry, this is the first time on the list. He's going up against the New York Jets. I just recently played the Los Angeles Chargers, and I think Hunter Henry's unrated and unnoticed part of his offense. I mean, you think about Los Angeles Chargers, you think about Melvin Gordon and Keenan Allen, but he likes to use Hunter Henry, and I could see him in this game using Hunter Henry and Hunter Henry getting a few, maybe a touchdown or two here, especially in that conservative offense that he runs. So Hunter Henry, I think, is a solid pick. Then you take a look at my defenses here. Like I said, I got the Miami Dolphins. Cookie Boy's defense has been absolutely phenomenal. He's going up against the Los Angeles Rams, which is a huge mismatch in users. So I would definitely look at the Dolphins as one of my defenses. And then you got the Colts against the Jaguars. So the Jaguars have been playing well this season, but then you got the Colts who were playing well last season, also this season. They're very good at getting an early lead, and then forcing certain teams into mistakes. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are one of those teams that he could get an early lead on and then start forcing him to make mistakes in the passing games, force some turnovers, and get maybe some defensive touchdowns. So those are some defenses I would take a look at this week. But that's pretty much going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you enjoy all the content and I'm putting out. I'm doing more and more with my league report. At some point we'll do more with the fantasy report, probably starting next season. It's gonna be a lot of work, so we'll see how I do. Like I said it in the chat earlier today. I mean, I'm always looking to take it a step further, and that could ultimately be my downfall. I could stockpile too much work on me. But that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you keep watching, and I'm out of here.